So today we're going to get into probability. Probability in reality is just the study or like the relationships between these three things. So the first is an idea of an outcome space. The idea of events. And then finally, what probability actually is. Probability. All right. So what is an outcome space? Well, an outcome space is just the set of all possible outcomes in whatever we're studying. And right now, all of this is abstract, but as we get into examples, it'll make more sense. Events are basically some subset of the outcome space, right? That's why I drew that little arrow. Basically, outcome space represents all the possible events that happen, and whenever we're talking an event, it can be a subset of the outcome space, and probability is simply a function on these events and subsets. So essentially, probability concerns with us sort of mathematically representing and mathematically understanding whatever relationships we have between the events in our outcome space. All right, so I guess more generally, if we were to sort of visualize this in our like certain Venn diagrams, Venn diagrams, right? Our outcome space, as we said, is the set of everything that's possible, right? So if I represent this sort of rectangle, our outcome space is basically everything in this rectangle. So this is the space universe that we're concerned with. And our outcome space is everything in that universe. An event, right? As we said, it's a subset of the outcome space. So an event could simply be this little circle. So this little sliver area inside our original outcome space. Now we have this notion of an impossible event. So an impossible event is simply an event that cannot happen. Hence, it lies outside our outcome space. So it's somewhere here, right? Outside the outcome space, right? And then commonly in probability, we also concern with the complement of an event. A complement of an event is simply everything that does not represent an event, right? So if this little square is our, or this little circle is our event, the complement is simply everything outside of that. And if we had like a larger universe like this, it would also include those pieces in the universe as well. Often we have this notion of a union. So the union of, let's say, event A and B is simply everything that's combined in those events. So if this was event A and this was B, my union would be this entire area that combines both of that. Now, similar to a union, there's an idea of an intersection. And an intersection is simply things that are common between a set of events. So if I'm just looking at event A and B, it would be whatever is common to both of them, right? When two events are mutually exclusive, basically it means that the intersection of the events, so if two events A and B are mutually exclusive, the intersection is 0. So the events are independent, or sorry, mutually exclusive events are not independent. We'll cover that later. But basically the events, when things are mutually exclusive, it implies that they're disjoint, right? So on a Venn diagram, we'd have A over here and B somewhere here. and then maybe our whole universe is like this, right? So A and B are disjoint events. And then if we have some sort of implication, such as if A, then B, right? So this is your classic A implies B, right? Then we know that A is a subset of B, because every time that A happens, we know that B must also take place, so we know A completely lies inside of B. So oftentimes when we're dealing with probabilities, like here we have sort of visually tried to represent what an event looks like and what the outcome space looks like with these Venn diagrams. And Venn diagrams can be really powerful tools in allowing us to sort of represent the relationships between different events. And then we know probabilities are just a function on these events. For example, like what's the probability that A happens, right? So we would find like the area of the event A, and then the event of the area of the whole outcome space, and reason through that. So Venn diagrams are really powerful tools in being able to understand what's going on.